Hi, hello, good morning. Today is Pattern Day, and today we are going to be making a rainbow shelled turtle. I currently don't have a finished one, so image here. This is what we're making. So what you'll need is the rainbow colors for the turtle, and your typical tools. So for the turtle, we want a body green or dark green. For his undershelly, undershelly. We'll have tan, and then, of course, for the rainbow, we have red, orange, a yellow, a lighter green. This just happened to be the green I had. A lighter blue, a darker blue, and a violet indigo purple. One of those ones. And then as far as tools, stuffing, of course, which is off screen. A hook. Today I'm using a 3mm, but whatever size matches your yarn, of course. Needle, eyes, stitch marker. So let's clear some space and get started. All right, so first we're going to be starting with the top of the shell and then working down. So we're going to start with red, or the centermost color. And we are going to magic circle, single crochet 6. Two. And 6. And just a reminder that these patterns are written on my website. This one is for free, just under the free patterns tab at metsyarn.com. Round 2, increase around. I did want to say I don't give instructions for how to do stitches if they are not out already. I will make separate videos for those, but there are a grand old number of other people on YouTube who have shown how to do the beginner stuff as well. Now we are switching to orange at the end of this round, so what I'm going to do is on my very last stitch, I'm not going to pull through. So I'm going to have the two loops. I'm going to grab my orange. My Slipknotic, because that's how we do. Then I'm going to pull through with that new color. You can switch however you prefer if you have a different preferred method. But now we're going to be working with orange. And then so for round 3, single crochet 1 and increase. And I'm going to hold my old yarn underneath, because even though we won't have any ends to weave in, it'll help keep it secure. I will say it is very helpful to use yarn that is all of the same brand or all of the same weight, or in my case, all of the same age. I am using the scraps that I have for this tutorial, which will unfortunately make some of the rounds look bigger or thinner than others. So while this orange is, I believe, the same brand as the red, it's like a good 50 years older. It's a lot thinner. And then for round 4, we're continuing with orange. It's going to be single crochet 2 and then increase. Increase, and again, because we are changing colors to yellow now, I'm going to not finish that very last stitch. and instead start with yellow. So for round 5, we're just going to single crochet around. Alright, and then now for round 6, we're going to single crochet 3 and increase. Alright, and then same with the end of this one, we're going to switch to green, which I don't have prepared, so give me 1 second to get the next batch of colors. Okay, so next up is light green. Yeah. And we're changing to on that last stitch. And then for round 7, it's going to be single crochet 4 and increase. And then for round 8, it's going to be single crochet 5 and increase. So I'm switching to light blue. I might have to grab another different light blue. Looks like it. I got a whole bunch of yarn from my great grandma, and it's in a bunch of pieces. I don't know. So with our light blue, that's not in a bunch of pieces, you can single crochet 6 and increase. This one's coming out quite lovely with all these bright colors. Around 10, single crochet around. End of row count should be 48. This is a great round to double check that on. And again, a reminder, of course, subscribe for patterns and crochet related shenanigans. Like the video if you like the video. Written pattern, mudsyarn.com. Under free patterns, this is the rainbow turtle. I have some other free patterns as well, including an owl, bucket hat, a turkey keychain even, and a couple paid patterns, including a tarot deck holder and a little chicken in an egg for Easter. Or because farms are cool. The paid patterns have been tested by other people as well, and are usually a little bit more involved. comment any thoughts, or if you'd like me to do something specific, tutorials, kit reviews. Even if you'd like me to make a pattern for something different. I am open to suggestions. But at the end of this round, we're turning to dark blue. With that dark blue, I'm going to single crochet 7 and increase. My dark blue is the same size as the holder I have it in. It's making it a little bit difficult. So, then for round 12, it's going to be a single crochet 8 increase. Okay. Then we're going to switch to violet on the last. That one out of the way. Okay. Switch to purple. Alright, so for round 9, excuse me, for round 13, we're going to single crochet 9 and then increase. Alright, and then the last round for the top of the shell is going to be a single crochet 10 and increase. You can see how with those couple of rounds of single crochets, and mine's a little more extreme because of the different weights in a couple of the yarns. But you can see how it's a little bit more of a dome. If you're using all the same weight, it should probably be more like that. You can see how it's a little bit more of a dome than either a circle or a completely flat shape. Again, single crochet 10 and increase. And then we are going to finish off my slip stitch chain 2, and be sure to cut with a good amount of yarn left for sewing. So we're going to use that to sew top to the bottom. There's our finished top shell. I really like this one. I think this color's getting together. It's pretty good. Alright, next up it's the bottom. So get your tan. Alright, and with that tan, we are going to make his underbelly. And we're going to make a flat circle for that. So we're just going to start and increase 1 and increase 2 and increase all the way to 10 and increase. We're not going to have any of those single crochet rounds. If you wanted to know what that means, you can skip ahead. Otherwise, start with magic circle, 6 single crochet. Okay. And round 2, increase in every stitch. And for round 3, single crochet 1 and increase. Keep it around. And round 4, single crochet 2 and increase. And for round 5, single crochet 3 and increase. And for round 6, we're going to single crochet 4 and increase. And for round 7, it's going to be a single crochet 5 and increase. And for round 8, that's going to be a single crochet 6 and increase. And then for round 9, we're going to single crochet 7 and increase. All right, getting closer. Next up, round 10, and single crochet 8 and increase. All right. Round 11, we're going to single crochet 9 and increase. All right, and so for round 11, we're going to single crochet 9 and increase. And finally, for round 12, we're going to single crochet 10 and increase. All right. And then we are going to finish off, and we don't have to leave a long tail. We'll be sewing with the other half. That will just get tucked inside. Next up, the body parts. Starting with the fins, so get that darker green. Alright, so we're going to end up making 4 fins. I'm going to do the first one here. I'm going to start with a magic circle and a single crochet 6. Five and 6, and then round 2 we're going to increase around. And round 3 it's going to be a single crochet and increase. And round 4 it's going to be a single crochet 2 and increase. And I know we're making a circle. When I said we were making fins, just stick with me here. Increase. And round 5 is going to be the single crochet 3 and increase. Increase. And round 6 it's going to be a single crochet 4 and increase. All right, and now to go from circle to fin, we're going to fold them in half. Tuck the loose end in there. And then we're going to single crochet through one side, and then in the corresponding stitch on the other side, which is a little bit hard with the first one. So you'll have 2 single crochets from the previous row on your hook. Yarn over, pull through both, and then pull through both loops like a normal single crochet. So again, we're going to go through this one and the one on the other side. Yarn over, pull through those, and pull through both. And then we're just going to keep doing that down the line. It'll give you 18 stitches, but more importantly, it'll give you a half circle fin that, compared to making a half circle, actually has a little bit of weight to it without needing to stuff it. Do both, and single crochet the way you normally would. And if you missed a stitch, end up with a weird number on the end, don't worry. I'd just slip stitch through the final stitch. Call it a day. But there we go. There's our little fin. We're going to chain 2 and leave a little bit extra yarn. Not for sewing. Just for the fact that that's my habit. We're going to make 4 of these. I'll be right back. Alrighty, now that we've got our 4 fins, we're going to make a tail. So we're going to do a magic circle. Let's single crochet 8. 2, 7 and 8. And then rounds 2 through 5, we're just going to single crochet around. And 8 makes 5. And then for round 6, we're going to single crochet the sides together. So the same thing we did with the fins. We're going to squish it in half, go through 1 single crochet, and then 1 on the other side, and then single crochet as normal. 2, 3, and 4. And that's our tail. Also don't need a long string, because again, when you sew it all together using that purple. Alright, and then for his head, we're going to start with a magic circle and a single crochet 6. Five and 6. And then round 2 is going to be an increase around. Alright, and for round 3, we're going to single crochet and increase. And round 4 is going to be a single crochet 2 and increase. And for round number 5, we're going to single crochet 3 and increase. And for round 6, we're going to single crochet 4 and increase. Right. And then for rounds 7 through 12, we're going to just single crochet around. And there's round 12. So what we're going to do now is we're going to insert the eyes. And these are going to go between round 7 and 8 on either side of his head. 1, 2, 7, and 8. So put one there. And then following that same stitch around, put this one here. So he's got 2 eyes on either side of his head, as turtles do. nice and snug in there. And then around 13, we're going to start his neck, so it's going to be single crochet 4 and decrease. Four. And decrease. And then round 14 is going to be single crochet 3 and decrease. And decrease. And then around 15, we're going to single crochet 2 and decrease. Decrease, and then finally, round 16, we're going to single crochet around. Then we are going to finish off again, slip stitch, chain 2, and this time we are going to cut it with a long enough tail to sew his head onto the body. Okay, so with all our pieces, we are going to first thread our needle with the string from the top shell. And then we are going to line up the top and the bottom. So you can kind of see that there's corners to this. Same with this one. So what you want to do is you want to match up some of the corners. It won't quite be perfect on the back, but that's okay. So we're matching up our corners. This one will be slip stitched. I'm trying to show the microphone. We slip stitched in the first stitch of the round, so we're going to find an increase and then the stitch right after that. And we're going to hold them together like that. And then we're going to slip stitch these two together for a couple of stitches. To about the middle of this side. Or just before the middle, rather. And when you've kind of gotten to that point, you're going to take the tail. And you are going to... Okay, so we're going to go through the bottom. And then we're going to stick our tail in there. And we're going to go up through... Here, we're going to go up through the last single crochet on the tail. And then up through the top shell. And then we're going to go over the next single crochet in the top, go down through the top shell, down through the tail, and go down through the bottom shell. Open this up and pull that tail a little bit so it doesn't have a random string sticking out. And then on the bottom, same kind of deal. We're going to go up through the bottom, up through the tail, and up through that top shell. Last open one, down through the top, down through the tail, down through the bottom stitch. Ta-da! And now we don't have to sew the pieces on. Individually, we're going to keep kind of doing that. So we're going to make sure we don't use the same stitch twice. And continue doing a whip stitch around. Until we reach the point where we're going to add this next leg. Sorry. So because we did this in increase 6 increments, you can kind of see he's got the 6 sides here. So essentially he's got 6 bits. That's what we're going to say. The tail goes in the middle of one, back fin, front fin. We'll leave this blank, and then we'll put the head on at the end, and then front fin and back fin. Essentially how that works up. Super nice and easy. Now, obviously for the fins, we can't just sew through the stitches, so that's going to be a little bit different. So same kind of deal, we're going to get to about the middle of that side. So we've got kind of the two corners here, and then it's got a socket. Then take one of the flippers. Now I have sewn them both this way and pointed backwards, and I can't decide which feels more right. So that's kind of irrelevant. But this one I'm going to sew it this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of just sandwich it in there where we think it looks good. Make sure it's pointed back a little bit. And then we're going to go down through the top, go randomly in the stitches here, and then out the bottom. So what matters is not where in the fin your needle is going, as long as it's going through the fin. And up through the bottom, through both layers of that fin, and then through the top. And it helps to make sure you hold it, or you can get like a little sewing clamp or binder clip to hold it there if you need that. Otherwise, same kind of deal. Go down through all the bits, and up through all the bits. And down through all the bits. And then once there's no more shell, that's when we'll, or no more spin, that's when we'll just start whip stitching through the shell again. Through the bottom and up through the top. Now we're kind of starting to work on the next little section, which is where his front fin will go. We'll keep working around until we get where we want to put his front fin. Fin, make sure it's pointed the same way as the last one we did. Same kind of deal, just get it arranged in there where it looks good. Pinch it all together, and then up through the bottom, through the fin, and through the stitch on the shell, and down through the shell, the fin, and the bottom. Oops. And down. Lovely. It's less lovely. I messed up my counts and ended up with 7 sides on the bottom instead of just 6. This is why it's important to count at the end of your rounds. That's okay. This one will just look a little silly. I don't want to remake that whole double when we're already, or that whole bottom when we're already so far. That's so silly. So the instructions will be right. Mine will just look a little silly at the very end. But we're going to keep going around the whip stitch, finish off this side, and then finish off the side with where we're going to stick his head. Remember, sewing on the head at the very end after everything, so we don't need to essentially change the side that's going to be the head. I'm not sure how I'm going to fix that at the end. The silly problems. Okay, so we're rounding the last bit of the side here. So now we're going to try to match up his pins on this side with the ones on this side. 4 stitches in from the front. And 4. And I'm going to take one of our pins. Right. I know how mirrors work. Now we're going to put it in this side so it looks equal with the other one we did. Through the pin, through the shell, and yes, you will have this tail to leave in. Go to whip stitches. So we get to, oh my goodness. So we get to our last section. Okay, we're gonna deal with this end. So what I'm gonna do is stick my hook in, because remember we stitched them together. And we're gonna stick it out by the knot, and then pull it through. Now it won't keep trying to get tangled in the knot. Right, we are on to the last little bit of shell here. So again, go line it up. Seems back when here's pointed more like this. Same kind of deal. Got about 4 stitches. I went through on the front there. So we're going to do the same trick with this one. Okay. Drop in there. Good enough. Anyway, we're gonna again line it up, make sure it's even with the other one and looks like we want it to. And then sew them on. Shell. Foot. Down the bottom. Okay. Now, normally you would have a little bit less space, something that looks more like that to stuff. Since I messed up his bottom. So silly. I'm not going to worry about stuffing him right now. Goodness gracious. So then you're going to stuff him, not overstuffed so he doesn't, you know, poof out at the bottom, because we want him to have a more flat side out bottom, and then fill his top. And then we would sew on the head. Now to sew on the head, you're going to do it when he's stuffed, so it's going to match up better. But it's going to go over top right there, and make sure the eyes are lined up the way you want it. I'm going to go remake his bottom and possibly resew him and be back, because, oh goodness gracious, what a silly thing to do. Alright, I'm back, and it's only been a full day and some change later. So I remade the bottom so that it was the right size, because that was hectic. But yeah, sewed them all up. His hands are in there. When there's that little bit of space left, I stuffed him. Now for the head. Let's sew it on. So my eyes are directional a little bit with the accents. Gotta be mindful of that. Otherwise, we're going to take that one spot that didn't have anything on it and start kind of sewing the head. Half of it's going to go a little more than half of it's going to go above the color, a little bit below. It kind of look like he's looking up. So let's work on it. You're going to want to kind of still sew in that half circle. Shape that is his head. The technique I'm using to sew on the head is that on his neck, you can kind of see the stitches here. Instead of going through the stitch, I'm going around the post. That way, it'll blend more and it won't be quite so seamy. Seamy? It won't have like as much of a seam. It'll look more like his head's coming out of the shell versus a part of it. It's a really small detail, but I like it. Sorry if you can hear my neighbor dogs freaking out in the background. Okay, I'm gonna stuff it. I've been stuffing mine with some leftover thread bits. Reduce, reuse, waste not, want not, all that good stuff. I store my scraps in an old Costco Parmesan container that has been deeply washed. So the yarn does not smell like Parmesan. Okay. Now we'll continue sewing. And catching the extra thread on everything, of course. I will say sewing his head on is kind of the hardest bit, just because they almost always end up sideways. I just accepted that as his little expression. But if that's not something you want, I recommend pinning the head in place or just taking extra steps to make sure that that is noted. As I finish up here, just a reminder to, of course, like the video if you like the video. Subscribe if you want more yarn content. Visit mubyarn.com for finished plushies, and free patterns, and some paid patterns. All my paid patterns are only $2 on there. It gets you a PDF download. Woo, excuse me. Comment anything you'd like me to do. Patterns to make. And if you stayed the whole time, drop a turtle emoji. Or a rainbow emoji. Engagement. There we go. Tie a knot. that extra through. And there we go. There is our absolutely adorable finished little turtle. The dude swimming right into your heart. He's so cute. I love these guys. But thank you so much for watching. Feel free to ask any questions, comments, concerns in those comments down below. But in the meantime, I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!